Hello, humans! It's Rob here with Not a Robot Podcast's DC Comics Review Show number 135, the world's greatest comic show about the world's greatest superheroes. And with me, as always, is Brandon.
Hey, how you doing?
And Josh.
Well, howdy there, partner.
If you ever want to get in touch with us, you can send us an email to comics@notarobotpodcasts.com and get us on Twitter at notarobotcomics and Instagram at narcomicbooks. And if you feel like supporting us, just visit buymeacoffee.com/NAR podcast, where you can get access to our Discord server, where we are always talking with each other and other fans about all things geek, including whether Eternals is worth it or not, and whether baseball is as erotic as it sounds.
That conversation went really weird, but I loved it.
Yeah. If you want to know what we're talking about, you got to get on. It's weird. So for the books this week, we are looking at World's Finest number 12, Wonder Woman number 796, Lazarus Planet's Omega number 1, Superman number 1, The Flash number 793, Catwoman number 51, and Nightwing number 101. A lot of ones this week, as well as some honorable mentions. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about the week's news. What's going on with you guys?
I actually just had my doctor call me and tell me that on Monday I'm going in for that double heart cath, and that I knew about, but I did not know that they were planning on potentially having to put in a stint or two. So that's fun. Well, that's it personally.
Is that good or bad?
Well, if they have to put in a stint, that means that there's some narrowing of some of the parts of the heart, and those stints will hold it open. Picture it kind of like a kinked garden hose, and then you slide a piece of plastic in there to keep it from collapsing.
Just to hold it open, yeah. Well, shit, hope that all goes good.
No, you're not the only one. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's not the first time I've had a heart cath. It's the first time I've had it being done on both sides at the same time. But other than that, everything's groovy. How about you guys?
Brandon?
Nothing really new in my neck of the woods, to be honest. Just same old, same old.
Yeah, about the same here. Just waiting on my figures coming in.
Oh yeah, I guess one minor thing is I was very happy on Tuesday when a package showed up on my doorstep, and it was from Ontario, Canada, and I knew exactly what it was, and waited all day until I could rip that thing open and see it for myself, and it's been sitting on my desk ever since. But very pleased with that. Thank you again, Rob. I've embarrassed you enough, so I'll spare you on the podcast. But no, it's a very, very kind gift.
Hey, well worth the money, honestly. You're worth it. I'm happy.
It's funny too, because the trailer, they're doing an adaptation for Essex County, and the trailer came out the exact same day. So it was almost fake. Yeah.
Nice.
Excellent.
For those not in the know, I did get Brandon a signed copy of the Essex County collection.
Well, not even just signed. Don't sell yourself short. It is a signed copy with a personalized sketch of the the main character from the first story, the first Essex County graphic novel, Tales from the Farm, Lester. And it says to Brandon. It's just incredibly sweet. I couldn't believe it when he sent me a picture of it a couple of months back, and just so over the moon to finally have it in my hands.
Nice. That's awesome. And worth a little bit of jealousy. Speaking of embarrassing, I don't know if this is old news for you guys, but it was new news for me. Are you familiar with the actor Ray Buffer?
Sounds familiar.
No.
He was in Bullet Train, American Gigolo, Curb Your Enthusiasm, West Wing, ER, like lots of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Now that I've
and
seen a picture, I know Ray Buffer.
yeah, and he got busted stealing almost $900 worth of comic books from a San Diego comic shop.
Holy
He got busted. He's caught on video, and he's still pleading not guilty.
Wow.
Yeah, that's got to be embarrassing for him, even if he doesn't realize it yet. That's messed up.
Yeah. That is fucking crazy, actually.
I mean, are comic book shops like the new place to rob? I mean, guys, go back to banks and shit. I mean, at least that's insured. You're not gonna fuck up anybody's life doing that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Some people's children.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, that was bad news. Good news is Chris Bacalo is going to be coming back for the horror event Night Terrors. It's been over 20 years since he was at DC, and I'll be damned if some of the art that I have seen isn't just absolutely beautiful.
He's definitely got away with.
Have you guys seen any of it yet?
No, I haven't seen.
No.
The last I saw him was, I think X-Men.
Well, I'm looking at a couple of the pages that they posted up on that Inferno website, Bleeding Cool, and man, I'm telling you, it is looking gorgeous.
Oh, so they're actually oh, so this isn't even just an announcement about Chris Bacalo. This is they're officially announcing Night Terrors.
Yeah, I guess so.
Which, I mean, we all kind of knew that it was coming.
Yeah.
But
at the same time, we could only see... Yeah, we only could see half of the title before, but now...
Yeah.
Okay.
They changed the name, and I read it earlier, and I can't remember what the hell it is, but it's something like...
oh, shit.
Dawn of DC Night Terrors.
Yeah. So this looks interesting. It's Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman find the body of one of their earliest enemies at the Hall of Justice, and their investigation takes them well into the land of the dead, where the only person that can help is Deadman.
Yep. It is Williamson, so curb your enthusiasm, but it does have the potential to be really good, because if I'm not mistaken, it is a fairly limited series. I want to say...
looks like it's taking place in July and August specifically.
Great.
It will feature multiple 2-issue miniseries.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
So it won't be out there too long. And Rob,
yep,
you have a set of collectible figurines that you got a while ago that included a special Build-A-Figure. You made Atrocitus. Is that right?
Yes. Yes, I did.
McFarlane Toys has done it again.
Oh.
They are releasing new Titans figures for Nightwing, Raven, Arsenal, and Donna Troy, and then the Build-A-Figure is a massive Beast Boy. And let me tell you...
Oh, God, I see that now. That is beautiful.
Other than Dick Grayson's face, which I do not like, the rest looks fantastic.
Oh, God, yeah, that Raven looks awesome. Beast Boy is huge. So this is the DC Rebirth Beast Boy when he had that issue with his powers.
If I'm not mistaken, that's where this is drawn from.
That Raven figure looks really good. I see what you mean about Nightwing's face. It's a little bit Bruce Campbell. It's a very, very square line jaw. It's just missing the double chin, and you have Jay Leno.
Yeah, right. Now, maybe it's the hair that's on there, or the fact that his mask is crinkling with his chin or his cheek, but altogether, it's still not too bad. It looks
Yeah.
good, and I would love to see that sitting on Brandon's shelf.
Oh, definitely.
Mhm.
Damn, that
Yeah,
Dawn of
no.
Troy in
Well,
person is good too.
I'll definitely take a look at that Arsenal figure. I feel like it's rare if ever we get figures of Roy Harper. So
Or
that'll
Donna
be nice
Troy.
to have.
Yeah.
Or Donna, well, yeah, or Donna Troy. But uh, but yeah, no, I feel like we've been spoiled in the past with a lot of Nightwing figures. So I still got to figure out which one I want. They have like those. I don't know if you've ever seen them, Rob or Josh. They're like the um, what do you call them? Not busts, but you know what I mean. It's like those, like the statues, basically the
Yes.
Yeah.
small statues that they have, and they have one of the Jim Lee rendition of Nightwing from Hush, and it's like the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen in my life, and I want
Yes.
that so bad. It's wicked expensive, but I'd love to have it.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome though. Jim
Yeah,
Lee
Yep.
statues are gorgeous.
yeah. I'm
Everything
gonna
Jim Lee
where's
draws
it?
is gorgeous.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
post it.
Actually, now that I posted an image of the Nightwing figure as well, if you wanted to get a look at it, and you follow that link, you'll be able to see
Yeah.
the other ones too. Uh, oh gosh, so I haven't been following. Apparently, I haven't been on Instagram a lot recently because I haven't looked at the McFarlane Toys official. There's been a lot of stuff announced. There's a
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Jokerized Dark Detective figure. Um, Impulse. I think I saw Impulse before. It looks really good. But what I didn't mention before, when they announced it a couple of weeks ago, um, a line of the Dark Knight trilogy figures, which are honestly all friggin' gorgeous.
Mhm.
They've got Batman, Joker, Scarecrow, Two Face, and the Build-A-Figure is Bane. And they're so incredibly detailed.
Nice.
That's a smart choice for build a figure. Bang.
Yeah. McFarlane is definitely a place to. We're not getting paid. I just want to preface that right. We're not getting paid by McFarlane.
Yeah,
I just
no.
honestly like
I
these
mean,
figures.
they can pay us in figures. I will
Oh
gladly take
yeah,
some.
I will gladly review these figures.
Yeah, I sure as shit
I'm
wouldn't
first
send
in
them
line
back.
for that Arsenal one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get a good look at that Beast Boy Build-A-Fig too. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It really is. Then the last piece of news that I've got is Williamson sat down for a Spoilers of Steel interview that apparently CBR is going to be doing about Superman and with its creative teams. And he's gone on record to say that Brainiac is going to be basically the major role of the entire Dawn of DC publishing initiative throughout the entire year. Apparently, the ending teases not only what's coming for Superman, but the entire Dawn of DC this year. It's not about Brainiac, but Brainiac is a much bigger player in the DCU and the Dawn of DC. So that's going to be the big bad villain for the entire event.
Cool.
Maybe we'll see. Seems like Brainiac stories are either awesome or completely forgettable.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see.
I guess it just depends. You know, I know there are some classic one and done stories, some that are not as memorable, but Superman Brainiac, the Jeff Johns Gary Frank story is, you know, one of my favorite Superman stories from that Action Comics run. So if it's anything like that, it's hopefully gonna be pretty good.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed.
That statue, Brendan, is gorgeous. I'm just looking at
I
it.
know that's
that-
that's the dream.
That is Scream stick
up?
in his right hand. Is it actually spinning, or is that just an effect for the image?
No,
Like, do
so
they actually have
they have.
8
I think
Eskrima
it's
sticks there?
yeah, it's like multiple Eskrima sticks. So it's meant to create that effect because the panel that
Right.
they took it from has, you know, Dick spinning his thing, but obviously they can't really replicate
Yeah,
that with the figure. So, but yeah, that's the dream. I so want to have that on my shelf at some point.
yeah,
I
yeah. That
can't
is
blame you
gorgeous.
there. I want that on my shelf, and I don't even collect
Yeah.
action
Yeah,
figures anymore.
yeah,
God, that is pretty. That's way better than the McFarlane one that's coming out, and
yeah.
I'm just
No,
gonna
Oh
put
yeah,
that's
that on there.
it
definitely.
is just great.
It really is.
Yeah, let me see if I
Well,
can
did
pull
you
up
guys
an
have any?
actual picture.
Yeah,
I didn't
do
have
that.
anything.
No,
How about you, Rob?
no,
Any
I
comic
didn't. I
book
didn't have
news?
anything.
Well, then,
I honestly
perfect.
didn't have anything substantial. Yeah. I'm just waiting with bated breath for my two Kyle Rayner figures to come in. I got the Blue Lantern and 90s costume coming at the same time, and they'll show up at any day now. I'm just I'm waiting. My legs are twitching.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that looks so good. That looks
It
so good.
does. That's a good idea,
Yeah.
having
No,
the
I
screen to
just
stick clear.
yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
I
so
just
it
wanted
looks
to take
like
like
it's
a
spinning.
picture from real life where you can actually see that it's 8 different
Yeah,
Eskrima sticks. It's a
that's
really cool
awesome.
effect.
Oh yeah, it is. Giving it that clear color gives it more of the movement appearance,
Yeah.
and I dig that. I dig that a lot.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
Yeah, I really had nothing.
well, I guess if that's all that's worth mentioning in the news, we should mention some honorables.
I think so. Honorable mentions would be good.
All right, I have had kind of a busy read, so I didn't get to read a couple. One Bad Day Clayface, I did not get a chance to read,
Oh,
and
that
Superman.
is. I will say this very briefly, but it has to be said. I
Oh,
feel
go
like for the
ahead.
most part, the One Bad Day one shots have been very gimmicky, but I checked this one out just because I was getting my stuff early and I saw Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly were doing it, and they have been like
Right
my
on.
creators to pay attention to recently. Also, they're incredibly nice people, and I read it last week, and it was probably one of, if not the best, Clayface stories I've read in a while. Like this,
Oh,
I think definitely one of the best One Bad Day stories, and it almost feels misplaced because it's so much more than just the gimmick that the line started with. It, it it's one of the ones that actually doesn't feel like it's trying to ape off of Killing Joke. It's really just telling an emotional, great Clayface story. So 100% endorse that
Oh,
one.
awesome. Well, I'm gonna have to go back up to the
perfect.
LCS because they did not have any, and I guess
Mm.
that might be why.
Yeah.
It's I didn't get to read that one, and I didn't get a chance to read Space Age #3, Superman Space Age #3 yet. I did
Excellent.
get a chance. I did get a chance at the other ones. You said it's decent.
Oh no, I said it's excellent.
Oh,
Like
Excellent.
I said, yeah, I said. I don't know if we talked about Space Age last. I think I reviewed that one. But yeah, Mark Russell and Mike Allred's like one of those pairings that you just read it and you're like, how the hell did this not happen before? And it still is just
Right.
as good as it was.
yeah.
I was just kind of disappointed it was such a long break between the second and third issue, but yeah, great
Yeah.
stuff.
Right on.
That is indeed awesome. Um, let's see. Deceased War of the Undead Gods #6. I thought that one was really good. Black Adam #8. I'm still liking this story, even if it is just a little different,
Boring.
I suppose.
Sorry, what?
Uh, I like it. Titans United Blood Pact #6. Skip this, so they quit this. And then finally, GCP, GCPD, The Blue Wall #5. It is only on honorables due to our time constraints this evening. This book is just so solidly put together and well told. I highly recommend the series to anyone interested in more than just capes.
Yes,
And
I can second
that's all the
that.
mentioning I've got to do today.
I just
At
got
least
to
so
read
far.
The Blue Wall today, and
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah, it's oh my god, it's so
fucking
good.
good.
So fucking good.
Yeah, so fucking good, bud. Oh,
Sniping.
All right, so with oh
Hello?
god, hi.
Hi.
Oh, yeah, sorry. You guys were cutting out a lot.
Oh shit, that's
A
okay.
little
We were
bit.
just making weird jokes again. We're making
Yeah.
references to jokes we made earlier today. Oh man, I don't even
It's
remember
what we
jokes.
do.
Yeah, it's what we do there, bud.
We are the world's finest at bad jokes.
As much as that is a great transition, I did want to just bring up. I found it interesting that you, being the American and me being the Canadian, you were defending hockey and I was defending baseball.
Isn't that fucking weird? What kind of
That's fucking
strange
weird.
parallel universe have we landed in?
I don't know, man. It's weird. You find baseball boring, I find hockey pointless.
Oh my god.
What the hell's happening right now?
Are you even Canadian?
That's
I
what
don't
I'm
know,
saying.
man.
Like, isn't
But I
thought
do
that
like
would
curling. I
be
love
one
curling.
thing that Canadians like.
he likes curling?
I like curling. I did say when I
Oh my
brought up
God.
one of my tirade about hockey, I said what I'm saying is technically illegal, but
You're gonna get your citizenship revoked, my man.
it's if they can find me.
I know.
Too busy watching the next game. Too busy watching the Leafs lose again. Ew.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad. I'm a Red Wings fan. They haven't
And
been
despite
good
despite
since
your
the
hockey
mid-90s.
status, I did have to explain Sami Zayn's honorary Hab shirt to you last week.
Yeah, you did, because I was like, Hab? What the fuck is that?
Because that's the thing about my family. One half is Leafs fan, the other half is Canadiens fan. So it makes family dinners very awkward.
No, you said that wrong. It makes them fun.
Yes, you're right. It actually makes them very fun. All right. Yes. So, as Josh mentioned before, we are the world's finest at making bad jokes, and that means we are moving on to our quick bite section with Batman slash Superman. I always want to put that in there. World's finest, number 12, the fated date issue. Oh, I'm stoked. This is written by Mark Waid with pencils by Emanuela Lupacino, inks from Wade Von Grawbadger and Norm Ratmond, colors from Chamra Bonvillain, letters from Steve Wands, and a wonderful cover from Dan Mora. I wish he was still doing the interiors, man. I like the interior art on this issue.
He'll be back next month. Don't worry.
Oh, man. Okay, that's good. It's good to hear. All right, so Robin and Supergirl we are finally seeing. I keep needing to go back in time with my words here. Are finally going on their legendary bad date, as we saw in, I think it was issue 2 or 3, they mentioned it, which really was as bad as they made it sound, with really awkward conversation, some bad celebrity interactions with the waitstaff, and a runaway pet monkey causing chaos on the street outside, leading to Supergirl ending up soaked in a puddle, and Robin realizing he did not have any cash on him and can't use his card because he showed up in his super suit. So he can't pay
And
unless
that's
he goes
how
to the
you
ATM.
knew there was not going to be a second date.
Yeah, so Kara's just like, I got it. Like,
Yeah.
oof, Dick, dude, don't take your name literally. Come on.
Oh my God.
I guess this just this one fading that was not meant to be, but
Yeah.
this would explain why, when it comes to the second Trinity, Supergirl and Nightwing are not mentioned together.
Mhm.
It's typically, I think, I've seen this conversation come up a lot over the last few months. You have the Trinity, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and then you have another Trinity with Red Hood, Artemis, and Bizarro. Oddly enough, the Dark Trinity, and then you have your Tim, Connor, and Cassie as Trinity. But what's Dick's generation of Trinity? Because there's no other super person apart from Supergirl, but that never was really a thing. You could have Dick and Donna, but then who's the super in the mix? You know, there really isn't.
Wally.
Which I think I think there was a thing, and I can't remember where I read this. It must have been some article or something somewhere. So it may not even necessarily be true, but I do remember reading somewhere that there was a policy with DC in the 60s, I believe, when Mort Weisinger was the Superman kind of editor in chief of all the Superman books, and apparently they had like a really strict rule about the fact that they couldn't let Supergirl be in any other books besides the Superman books, which is why, despite being a teen hero, she was never in the Teen Titans. And I think there
Oh
was
wow.
like some kind of petition by one of the writers to try and get Supergirl to be a part of the Teen Titans, but she never was.
Would have been perfect.
It might have been an article on the New Frontier, because there's a panel at the end of the last issue of DC: The New Frontier where Supergirl is with the teen heroes that will become the Teen Titans, and people were like, "Wait, that doesn't make sense. She was never a part of them." And then someone kind of elaborated on the whole history there. But I think that might be why that pairing never really existed, kind of in any older context.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, that'll certainly do it. Yeah. Well, that's there. Well, now we know for sure that why, at least in continuity, it never happened because they did not like each other.
Yeah.
Because of really
Well, actually,
really bad date.
well, that's another long and lengthy question that I don't think we need to go into, which is, does Supergirl even remember this happening? Because yeah, that's the history of Supergirl is a whole other thing that is
Oh God, yeah.
time
The
consuming.
Matrix.
Because there was
Whether it's
there was the
Krypton or
Supergirl who
Argo
died.
or Argo City.
Yeah,
Just,
during.
yeah.
And so my question was like, is this a Supergirl who died during Crisis, or is this the Supergirl from the Jeff Loeb Superman Batman, which wouldn't really make sense because Dick was Nightwing when that. Like I said, it's a whole. So I was just like, forget it. I don't care. This is just a fun issue explaining how terrible it would be if Robin and Supergirl were today.
Yeah. Like, I'm a firm believer in continuity matters, and I'm very much an advocate in like, hey, you forgot this happened 5 years ago, but
Yeah.
there are certain things in history that I think should just be stripped from the books, and personally, Supergirl Matrix should be one of them.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of 90s fans will disagree. That's not a bad book, honestly. I don't dislike that one, but it is kind of a weird anomaly in Superman's history.
Yeah.
The whole, Linda Danvers character.
It was
Very strange.
Yeah.
Well, what'd you guys
Put
get?
that up there. I say that, but like I also liked the red and blue Superman stories. So my opinion,
God, Rob.
take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it with a whole fucking tablespoon of salt.
No, the Peter David Matrix stuff actually, it isn't terrible. I would say it's better than average, but I'm by no means the biggest Supergirl fan, so I don't know that I could necessarily be the best judge of that.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I don't know. Scores for this book though, I gave it a 9 out of 10. I actually really enjoyed this one. A lot of fun, a lot of cute moments, a lot of funny moments, a lot of cringy moments.
Yeah, I gave this one an 8.5 out of 10. I had a lot of fun, and it's kind of nice. I mean, we've talked about this book as a throwback, but it's I just kind of want to reiterate that it's nice being able to look back on a simpler time. And I also think it's funny looking back on some of the characters in a more simple time, especially someone like Robin, who, I would say is a lot more tempered as Nightwing than he is here as Robin. He kind of comes across as more arrogant and kind of self-centered, and you're like, yeah, I guess he would be before he really matured and formed the new Teen Titans, not the old Teen Titans, and kind of grew into an adult. So it's fun, looking back on a simpler time.
Definitely.
Well, for me, I thought the art was really good, but a whole issue dedicated to a date between Dick and Kara that meant absolute shit to me is a waste of time and money. I thought Wade seriously disappointed here, and that feels rough to say because I am a big Mark Waid fan. That's about all I can say without going into full teardown mode for a book that, well, I mean, and I know you guys don't feel this way, but to me, it's basically like it's Elseworlds, but it isn't, but it's different from both, and sure, it might have happened, and no, wait, it did happen, but it doesn't matter, no. But that still cost everybody $5-6, and that's not cool, man. I mean, I guess you guys had fun with it, but to me, it was pointless. I could have completely skipped this issue. I, I, like I said, the art was really good, but not enough to get a high score. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
I do wonder though. Like, okay, I have a question here because I know through my history of comic books why I enjoyed this issue. I can pinpoint why. So I have a question. When it comes to the 90s animated series comic books, Batman, Superman Adventures, books of that caliber, Adventures in the DCU, I collected all those issues. Brandon and Josh, did you guys read any of those?
Sporadically.
Never the comics, never the comic tie-ins. I would just watch the show.
Okay.
I think I may have read one. Yeah, I may have read one TMBA tie-in. Like I don't even know how long ago it would have been, but yeah, rarely ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think I might have picked up a couple in a dollar bin.
Yeah. I mean, they were
Maybe
wholeheartedly kids comics. They were not meant to be all ages comics. They were 100% kids comics, and that's why I ate them up. But they were chock full of stories just like this, where it's just one-off stories, fun little romps. Occasionally there's a criminal, or sometimes it's just silly little thing. I think there was even an issue of Superman Adventures where Jimmy Olsen took center stage, and it was just him photographing Superman the entire time, and I loved that issue. If I'm not making it up, it just sounds very familiar. There was something like 65 issues of Superman Adventures. There's a lot. So I'm thinking, I don't know. I was just curious if maybe that's why. Like if Josh, you never got a chance to read those, and Brandon, you did. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's the same situation with me. Why it is I love an issue like this.
Maybe I think it was just I don't know. It was like fun story filling in the blanks of what happened on their disastrous date. Nothing too serious. Like I like fun one and done issues. If it's done well and it's enjoyable for me, I'm always down for that. Okay, and I do like shifting perspective ones. Like one of my favorite issues of All Star Superman is the one where it's Jimmy Olsen in the lead, and you're like, "What the fuck? This is gonna be terrible." And then you read it, and it's great. Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind one and done issues at all as long as they're standalone and not a part of a series. So I guess I like one shots. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I don't want to rag on Wade too much. I guess I'm playing favorites.
We will move on to another book which we have ragged on in the past with Wonder Woman number 796. And Brandon, I'm going to let you take it over.
What is this?
Wonder Woman.
Oh, wait, am I doing Wonder Woman? I thought you were doing Wonder Woman.
I'm not. I did World's Finest.
Oh.
Let me check my notes.
I don't know.
Because I just copy and pasted from Discord.
As did I. Yep, Brandon, I got you at Wonder Woman. All right, so it picks up with the last issue left off. Arrow's shot a giant love arrow at the whole fucking world, and everybody's in love with Diana and everybody else. Diana and Yara go after Eros and ends up with his hand being cut off, which I thought was funny. And the issue ends with Hera being yelled at by Zeus. Zeus interfered and zapped Eros off of the battlefield with a bolt of lightning. And Hera wasn't too happy with it, and someone, not Hera, but somebody snuck up behind Zeus while they were arguing and killed him. So Hera is sitting on the throne of Olympus now. And that is basically the book. And I feel like there were definitely some cool parts to this one. The art looks great. I mean, that's what Amanke Nwalpin does, is he draws damn good. Jordi Belair, their colors are always fire. Wonder Woman in this podcast has kind of had a bad relationship since Cloonan and Conrad took over. The previous issue I thought was really good right up until the last page. That's kind of been the situation for the last few issues. This one still makes me wonder if it's going in the right direction, but the story is pretty interesting. And to see how Hera and, oh, that's right, My mistake. I said we didn't know who it was. We do know who it was that stabbed Zeus, and it was the wizard Shazam. So I'm interested in seeing how he fits into this. Plus, I'm curious as to what will happen with Eros. Now that he got his hand cut off, how's he gonna shoot arrows now? Like, I guess a crossbow.
It's gonna have to be.
It's gonna have to be. But from me, this is the best score for a Wonder Woman book in a long time. I gave it a 7.75 out of 10.
Yeah, I can agree. Much better this time. A lot more action, a lot less nonsense. Let's just hope it holds up. I'm still waiting patiently for a new creative team, but we'll see. Maybe after 800. 8 out of 10 for this one.
Oh, speaking of creative,
7.5 for me. Fun seeing Yara in this arc. I know she kind of dramatically appeared in the last issue, and now we're getting the proper team up between her and Wonder Woman, and also taking down Eros. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely feel like the kind of tying this all together with the big Olympian plot makes it a lot more interesting than when we were just getting the psychic milk stuff. So definitely more interested. Still not perfect, but better. And the art is really solid too. So 7.5 out of 10. I will say a little embarrassing on DC's part. I don't know if you guys read out the creative team, but if you noticed, they list Jordi Belair as the colorist, but they have Tamara Bonvillain on the cover as the colorist. And it's so obvious that this color scheme. Yeah, it's so obvious this color scheme is Tamara Bonvillain because she has those really warm colors for her palette that I was just like, how do you even fuck that up?
Well, I'll tell you what, I didn't catch it.
Oh, yeah.
That's your keen eye, though, Mr. Librarian.
I missed that completely.
I got to the end and I saw that and I was like, you're fucking kidding me. This cannot possibly be Jordi Belair. I know what her color palette looks like, and it's not this. It's never been this.
Yeah. That's a good point. I mean, I think Jordi Belair did... No, it wasn't. It was Paulina Ganucheau on the backup.
Yeah.
Yeah. She just did the story. Yeah, that's interesting.
We don't speak of the backup around here.
Backup? What backup?
Exactly.
Oh, back up. Back to the main story. Yeah. I think we all gave our scores, yeah?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, well, hopefully Wonder Woman sticks to this course of action. To be continued in Lazarus Planet, We Once Were Gods. Which I think the first issue already came out, didn't it?
No.
Revenge of the Gods.
No?
Did it?
I don't know. I'm getting confused with all these Lazarus Planet tie-ins, man.
Yeah.
I thought they were all one-shots, but
We Once Were Gods, that was a tie-in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Revenge of the Gods is the 6-issue miniseries that's coming up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, they're not really doing a proper checklist on this, at least not that I've seen. It's making it very hard to figure out what the hell's going on. But speaking of Lazarus Planet, we are now moving on to our spotlight section for the week, which our first issue will be Lazarus Planet's Omega #1, supposedly the book that will tie up all these Lazarus Planet events. But, spoiler alert, not really. This opening story is written by Mark Waid with art from Riccardo Federici and Mike Perkins, with colors from Brad Anderson, letters from Steve Wands, and, as has been the case, a gorgeous cover from David Marquez and Alejandro Sanchez. So we pick up where I think it was Alpha left off like 2 months ago, something like that, where King Fireball has invaded the Hall of Justice, where Black Alice, Monkey Prince, and Robin are holed up trying to run points on the two teams that have separated themselves across the planet. He's starting to wreck their shit as Zatanna, who has recently helped save the magic from the Tower of Fate, is trying to pull Black Alice to them, but King Fireball has other ideas and holds her down through the portal. So she's being pulled in two different directions as Monkey Prince comes to her aid, gets her away, and before King Fireball can begin to look for them, gets hit by 2 beams of heat vision as 2 Green Lanterns in Hal Jordan and Joe Mullane, 2 Supermen in John and Clark, Yara Flor, Wally Flash, and Martian Manhunter arrive to help take down King Fireball as Robin, Damien, God, these multiple names are getting exhausting, uh, take on King Fireball as Robin begins happiness. Wow, I'm tripping over myself going in so many different directions. There's too many characters in this scene. So they begin the fight towards King Fireball, but he gets the upper hand as Robin realizes he's able to manipulate the Lazarus storm that is flying overhead. Black Alice has a private meeting with Monkey Prince with some kind of plan as Robin looks on from beyond. The team does what they can to take down King Fireball as Black Atlas teleports to the Tower of Fate and begins to put all the magic back into the proper players. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, not the Tower of Fate, the superheroes' powers have begun to move about. Robin now has some heat vision. Clark has Martian Manhunter's telepathy. Wally has some super strength. So everything's going a little AWOL. As Black Alice is beginning to put all the powers back, starting with the Spectre, Shifu Pigsy arrives and says this is not really a good idea. She's going to destroy herself, but continues anyway, saying that, look, I just need to do this. Everyone's been telling me what to do, where to go, and I've not had any control. This is what I want to do. Just let me do it. As she continues to do that, the heroes are doing what they can to take down King Fireball, but it's just barely holding together. And as Black Alice finishes off all the magical beings, putting all the powers back where they belong, the Batman slash Devil Nezha combination senses a disturbance in the force, if you will, as Black Alice explodes and all the magical beings are right back to where they need to be. However, Devil Nezha Batman is able to communicate with King Fireball across the planet and basically just talk shit to him until he says, look, if you want to be a lightning rod for magic, then you will be a lightning rod for sure, as he blasts King Fireball with some Lazarus lightning, which is actually a teleportation spell, getting all the magical users, i.e. the Shadow Pact or the Sentinels of Magic, whatever you want to call them. It's a damn team of magic users, and it's awesome. They all show up just in time, and villains and heroes alike all use their respective powers on King Fireball all at once, with the Spectre coming in and delivering the final blow, capturing him and whisking him away. As they pick up the pieces, there's still some stories left to be told, as we see with the Helm of Fate and Dreamer, which is what I'm very excited about. We see Black Alice is still alive, just gone away somewhere and hiding, and Batman has arrived to see his son once again, seemingly normal now. But as we will see in the conclusion of Batman vs. Robin number 5, Devil Nezha is still inside Batman. So while it's not Robin fighting Batman this time, it will be Batman fighting Robin. Oh boy. So, do we want to go into the backup first before we get into the whole issue?
We can talk about this one first and then get into the backup, because they're pretty separated.
Right. They are. I think, honestly, good ending for the story for now. There's still a lot of threads left open, and honestly, I'm going to see how Batman vs. Robin ends before passing full judgment on how this chapter has ended. The backup does leave some... sorry, I'm going too far ahead. I do love the art throughout the issue. I was just reading my notes. I do love the art throughout the issue. I think it's gorgeous. Ricardo had to retweet Mike Perkins, do an amazing job. I don't really know what else to say about it right now, because I didn't really dislike it. I just think there's not much we can go on right now. They stopped King Fireball, but Devil Nezha is still around. And all the magic users are back, but powers are still haywire. The Lazarus Storm is done, but there's a lot of damage left to be discovered. So, as we say, the story's not done, and there's still a lot of Lazarus Planet tie-ins to see, so we'll see how it goes. As for Omega, though, I'll give my score at the end after the backup, because I did not score them separately. I'd say an 8.5 for this, though.
All right. Fair enough. If I was grading them separately, I would have given this one a 7. for me, the art is absolutely amazing. Colors, light, pencils, all of it. There's a few parts where the faces or the perspective is just a tiny bit off, but honestly, it's all really damn good. As far as the way this ended, it was way too quick. It was honestly, I'm sitting here going, Mark Wade wrote this. This wasn't Joshua Williamson. While quite a bit happened, still nothing really did. There wasn't any real tie ups, other than saying magic has changed forever, but it probably isn't going to be. And some people who didn't have it now will. The worst part about this issue for me is Black Alice, who I really hoped was coming back to stay, is gone now. And oh, that's slightly overshadowed by the fact that Batman is possessed by a demon again. I guess we can't go longer than 3 years without that happening. Maybe it's 5, but in any case, uh, I think this was okay. It was definitely not what I thought the last issue of Lazarus should be. The art, though, man, Federici and Perkins are the real magic wielders of DC. But the other part of that art there, is it just me, or on that cover, which honestly is pretty cool, but I think it could have been better, which is honestly surprising to hear myself to say because it is Marquez and Sanchez, and they're some of my favorites. But near the back on there, and I'm probably just being a doof, but near the back on there, in between Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, that looks a whole buttload like Starlight from The Boys. Who is that?
Uh, if that's not Golden Glider, it might be Booster's sister.
Oh, I didn't even think of Booster's sister.
But she hasn't really been in anything since Booster Gold's
Forever.
series. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. It's more likely than not Golden Glider, I would think.
Yeah. The costume threw me off, and like I looked at that, and that's all I could think was Starlight.
I thought that's a good point.
But yeah, I mean, as far as the front part goes, I would have given it a 7 out of 10 if that was the whole book. How about you, Mr. Brandon?
Yeah, I don't really have much to add, other than I kind of agree with you, Josh. It was a bit of a weak ending, although I guess it's not really the end since Batman versus Robin #5 next week will be the official ending, even though I thought this was supposed to be the end, and they advertised it as such. So yeah, I don't know why they're kind of why they structured it like that, but whatever. But yeah, I kind of agree. It was the pacing was just a little too fast, I thought, and
Yep.
it just kind of wrapped everything up at breakneck speed, which I get you need to do, but really you kind of could have just skipped every Lazarus Planet tie-in and just read the Alpha and the Omega, and you would have been fine. Like I don't think there was anything essential from any of those tie-ins except for maybe the Monkey Prince one, but I didn't read that one, and I got through this one just fine.
Right.
So it really kind of makes everything that you've read so far very pointless. And yeah, I don't know. I guess if
Nothing
you're a Black
vibes.
Alice fan, you might like this book. It very much feels like a Black Alice book, but
Oh,
other
I'm
than
a
that,
Black Alice fan, and
yeah, I
they
don't really
killed her.
care.
I am not happy.
She's not dead. She's like lost in the plains somewhere, so she'll be back. She's not
I hope so
gone,
because it's been
but
like
yeah,
400
like they
years since
literally
I
say
saw her.
she's just, I mean, they think she's dead, but you can clearly see she's lost somewhere. So she's not dead. I'm sure she'll find her way back. But I don't know. I never really cared about Black Alice, to be honest. So I was kind of
Ouch.
like, oh, cool. I guess she gets her moment. But yeah, other than that, kind of just average. So I gave this, I mean, the main story at least, a 7.5.
All right, fair enough. Let's jump into the backup then, shall we? Written by Gene Luen Yang, art from Billy Tan of Tan Comics, and that is the first time I've ever seen, or that I can remember seeing, an artist credited like that. But Sebastian Chang on the colors and Seda Temafonte on lettering. So the book, or the story rather, Monkey Prince wants to kill King Fireball. God, I love the stories. I hate the names. But Monkey Prince wants to kill King Fireball because he nearly killed Monkey Prince's mom. Shifu tells him, no, don't do that. It'll turn you evil. And then he spills the origin of King Fireball. He's Neza's adopted son, not his real one, because Darkseid snuffed his real parents out. However, Neza had gone to Darkseid previously and asked him for help, telling him all about where he was from, because that's the smart thing to do to Darkseid. So Darkseid sent parademons there, messed some stuff up, and killed Red Boy's parents. Red Boy turned on Neza. Then, after siphoning his dead parents' power, he turned himself into the Devil King Fireball. Monkey Prince tells Shifu that he's listening to his warnings, but afterward he plucks a hair, talks to one of his clones, and they agree that they should still go kill Neza. The end. Now, this is not something I really needed to read. I got all of the info I needed from reading the regular story. Didn't really even think about Neza and King Fireball's origin stories, but whatever. Billy Tan of Tan Comics is one bad mofo. Every panel is delicious. I loved all of it except how Calabac looked, but he never looks good. So, it's just a weird design for a character. All in all, the art works at making up for kind of pretty much an unnecessary story. For the backup, I would have given it like a 7.5 out of 10. So the whole book, I'm going to give a 7.75. Not bad, but could have been way better. And then...
Don't dude, where's my car me?
Sweet.
Dude. Yeah, this definitely leaves some interesting developments for Monkey Prince number 12, considering my review for number 11 was going on about how there's a lot of story left open at the end of the issue. With one issue left, there's a lot of stuff to cover. And while they did kind of close the door with LP Omega, they still kind of left it open where Marcus still wants to kill King Fireball. So I honestly have no idea what direction they're going in with issue 12 now, because there's like 3 or 4 different directions to go in. So I still think season 2 is happening. I didn't mind the backup. I thought it was a nice little look at the history and gives a bit more credence to the lore. I enjoyed it. I gave that. If I say that, my score doesn't make sense. For the whole issue, I say an 8.75. I rather enjoyed it.
Right on. Et tu, Brendan? How about you, Brandon?
Thought it was a nice way to just wrap up the Neza Fireball arc story, whatever you want to call it. But I don't know. It was just kind of average, kind of like the rest of the issue. Nothing too special, really. So I gave this a 7.5. Really, the whole issue 7.5.
All right. Sounds pretty good.
Right on. So with that,
let me do the transition.
Okay.
From Lazarus Planet to the Daily Planet. Here is Superman number 1.
I like that. That's way better than what I had. All right.
It's the only one I wrote down.
This is Superman number 1, and Brandon, I'm gonna hand this over to you.
My pleasure. Yes, this is Superman number 1. Yes, and strap in because it is going to be a bit of a lengthy read, but I'm going to try and speed on through it. This is Superman number 1, brought to us by Mr. Joshua Williamson, with art from the incredible Jamal Campbell. That is pencils and colors, so you know it was a labor of love, and letters from Ariana Marr. It's the dawn of a new era for Superman as the Dark Crisis has ended and Big Blue has returned to Metropolis proper, again, not counting the whole War World saga. And what better way to kick off a new era than with a flashback to the days of Smallville? As John and Martha Kent have a heart-to-heart chat about Clark's future, as John firmly states that no matter what the world throws at him, Clark will march to the beat of his own drum, so to speak. Flash forward to the present, where Superman is in the midst of a deadly attack from Metropolis's favorite shock jock, Leslie Willis, aka Livewire, who's lashing out after her podcast was pulled from streaming services. No, I'm not making that up. That's actually in the thing. It's hilarious. And there's a panel in here that is probably my favorite in the entire issue, and maybe this week, that we'll get to later. But it is related to that. While Superman tries to bring her down peacefully.
What was pulled from streaming services?
Her podcast.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed that because of the GIF Josh sent in our chat. So I was laughing at that.
Yeah. No, you're good. Anyway, where was I? While Superman tries to bring her down peacefully, Lex is in his ear the whole time, giving him increasingly violent advice of how to take her down. Lex, of course, is still in prison at this time and is desperately hoping that someday soon Superman will take his advice. After Superman stops Livewire and assists at a wedding, he returns to daily life at the Daily Planet. Everything seems to be business as usual as Jimmy stops by his desk, but the planet is in a new era as well, with the fiercest editor-in-chief this side of J. Jonah Jameson, Miss Lois Lane. Lois Lane is in charge while Perry's on sabbatical, and she's cracking the whip on the planet's staff, hating every second of it. Naturally, as a reporter, she doesn't want to be behind a desk, but she's stuck there for the time being. Lois, Clark, and Jimmy have a nice back and forth about Jimmy's new relationship before Clark suddenly heads to the roof to escape Luthor's annoying commentary. Lois later joins him on the roof, consoling him when he admits that he feels like he let Luthor down. Clark sadly does not know how wrong he is when a sudden transformation at the LexCorp tower catches their eye. When Superman flies over to investigate, he sees that the LexCorp logo has morphed into the House of L symbol. Investigating further, he finds Mercy Graves, who reveals that the sudden change was to embrace the new ownership of LexCorp, which will formally be renamed SuperCorp. That's right. LexCorp has changed hands and is potentially going into the hands of none other than Superman himself. Superman is naturally unimpressed with Luthor's schemes to make him better, and despite SuperCorp's many scientific advantages and technology, Superman decides he's had enough of Luthor's schemes and interventions and flies off to have a chat with him. And yes, that's chat in quotation marks. Before he can reach the prison, however, he finds Parasite, who seems to be dealing with some kind of infection. Superman quickly discovers, however, that Parasite's infection is contagious and has affected Metropolis's citizens around him. Lex, in his cell, mocks Superman for not taking his advice sooner and reveals that the enemies that will soon cross paths with him are no longer Superman's enemies, but Lex's. I love this issue. I loved it a lot, actually. It felt like just a great way to return Superman back into the fray after War World and Dark Crisis and everything. It's just a bright new era filled with lots of new characters, which I think for this new era of Superman is definitely needed. And we could go over some of those, but I think it's worth just reading the issue for yourself and checking those out. But yeah, no, it's just an exciting debut, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where a lot of these teases are going to go, especially the teases we got towards the end of the issue with that coming in Superman page. And I've heard Williamson talk about the series a lot and just how much fun he's having with it and all the different types of stories that you can tell with Superman. And I'm hoping that the sky's the limit. Actually, sky's beyond the limit, especially if you're Superman, and you can kind of just let your imagination run wild and tell the craziest, most wild Superman stories you possibly can, especially in this whole new dynamic that he has. So I had a great time. The art from Jamal Campbell was good-ish, but there were some panels where Superman looks really kind of squat and chunky, and it just looked kind of off. It looked like, I don't know, like a small, fat wrestler. It was just really weird. But aside from that, I had a really great time, and I'm looking forward to the next issue. So I gave this an 8.5 out of 10.
Josh, you want to go first? Josh?
Yeah, I was actually gonna just ask you that first. I had my mic muted. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Um,
fair enough.
but I was gonna ask you if you wanted to leave this book on a good or bad note.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I just wanted to do a quick once over of the artwork after what Brandon just said because I didn't notice what he noticed. I just wanted to take a quick look. Okay, I'll start it off because I'm still not seeing it. I think it was a fantastic opening issue. I think for an issue number 1, even written by Joshua Williamson, it was really well done. I mentioned earlier this episode about Superman Adventures, and it honestly gave me that kind of nostalgia of those kind of issues, like back in the day, just fun action,
especially with
interesting
Livewire.
Story. Especially with Livewire, it was out of nowhere, and even just
Livewire, last seen with Robin.
Was it with Robin or was it Harley Quinn? Who the hell was in that Harley Quinn with Task Force XX? I thought it was in that, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think Livewire was in that, was she?
Wait.
She wasn't something.
Well, yeah.
She was in the Robin thing, and then
she was in Robin? I don't remember that.
Wait, hold on.
She was with something. Oh my god. I think we might be both wrong.
I might be thinking of Flatline.
Yeah, damn it. I'm thinking of Flatline. But really, I mean, same caliber. Anyway.
Not even remotely, but they're very different characters. Just because they have white skin. Oh,
no,
so
it's
because
they're both B-listers.
Oof. That's hilarious. You think Livewire is even a B-lister?
I was trying to be nice.
I do like Livewire though because, as I stated, I watched the shit out of Superman the Animated Series and read a lot of Superman
it's like my
Adventures.
favorite episode.
Yeah, it actually is a really good episode. Yeah.
Wait, I'll have to look it up, but I think that episode was written by like a Superman comics writer or something, like someone famous. But I guess
there were a lot of writers in that series, a lot of comic writers. So I think you're right. But yeah, if you can look that up because I don't remember. Yeah. So I think gorgeous art throughout. I think Jamal Campbell killed it. I don't see the how did you put it, stockiness for Superman? I'm looking at it again.
It just looked kind of chunky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I kind of see where you're going with the chest puffing out in a bit, but
yeah,
I wasn't completely against that. I thought that kind of added credence to the power.
It's just my
Superman
preference.
Has. Yeah, and that's fair.
It was
Some
Evan
people
Dorkin.
do prefer a
Do
skinnier
you know
Superman.
who Evan Dorkin is?
Sounds really familiar.
He's a comics writer. I did a couple of stuff back in the day, but I guess he and his wife co-wrote the screenplay for Livewire, which is why that episode is hilarious.
Okay. It's still a great episode. And fantastic to see her in this, even down to Clark officiating a wedding, because that's a job for Superman. How dare that officiant just quit? I don't care if Livewire's attacking. Like, you were paid to do a job. Just take shelter, and then when it's done,
earn that $80.
Yeah. I wish officiants cost that much. My wedding would have been a hell of a lot cheaper.
Oh wow! I used to charge people $50.
Oh yeah? Fuck, we should have had you up and do it.
No, well, travel would have costed more, homie.
Yeah, fair enough. So gorgeous art. I think there's lots of exciting story to come. And I'll be honest with you, I went through this a couple of times, even going through it again. I had a hell of a time trying to find any flaw I had with it. I could not fucking find. I tried so hard to find a problem with this. I couldn't. I'm actually scoring this a 10 out of 10. I think for number one, it's fucking fantastic. And even online, I'm seeing nothing but good chatter about this issue. Everybody's loving it. Until now.
Well,
Josh?
Until now. Jamal Campbell is such a great artist.
Yep.
But I've got a few bones, some minor, some huge to me, that need to be picked with this issue. Livewire attacking Metropolis because her podcast was pulled off the air. That's dumb. Lex Luthor being in Clark's ear to telling him what to do. That's dumb. Lois running the Daily Planet. I actually think that one's kind of cool. But then we got Clark playing music through headphones to drown out the ambient noise of the world rather than having disciplined himself to be able to tune it out any way he wants. And now the deal is that he's only learned to tune on John, Lois, his mom and dad, Batman, and Lex Luthor. That is absolutely retarded. Lex Luthor handing over his entire company to Superman, now calling it Supercorp. Mercy Graves wearing a Superman pin. Hell, the whole building as Superman everywhere. None of that was appealing to me in any way, shape, or form. In fact, the whole issue pisses me off. Sure, like take back his identity reveal. I thought it was dumb when it happened. Afterward, in the hands of others, I thought the idea worked pretty well. But take that back, okay, no big deal. But changing everything else, it's beyond fucking dumb. It looks great, but with the potential exception of other villains jumping in, like Bizarro, but not the Bizarro I wanted. The story, I feel, is horrible, and I cannot stand it. And then in that little tiny bit of a backup, that's kind of intriguing, I guess, but not in any really substantial way for me. Jamal Campbell is the star of this book because he's great for one, and the other reason is that Williamson wrote a garbage fire and he made it look beautiful. I gave it a 6 out of 10. This was straight up cheese, and not for me. Number one, this it's like redefining Superman, but in Williamson in Williamson style, and that never ever works out ever. So yeah, 6 out of 10. It's bad. This is gonna be so bad. Mark my words.
I want to get Glenn on the line though, because I want to fact check that, because I do think this whole thing with the headphones is a new touch, but I think that whole idea of him tuning into certain people and having trouble drowning out certain other things, I think that's an established trope with Superman. I could be wrong.
That's why everybody's got the emergency beakers, emergency beacons. Jimmy, Lois, they all have the button to press so that he can hear that particular sonic. Everything else, he can listen to the whole world. That's what happens when he loses control of his powers. But other than that, he's got total control of all of his powers at all times. He learned how to do that when he was a kid, thanks to his dad, John. And man, if they're gonna bring back Bizarro, why not bring back the good Bizarro?
I mean, there's like 5 Bizarros right now, which is
there's the one that we left in hell is the good Bizarro. I mean, Trigon is making hell. An appearance.
He's the king of hell right now. Which throne did he take? Didn't he take Trigon's throne?
That's what I thought, but that's not the case anymore. Trigon is back to being in charge, or Neron, depending on who's writing what.
I also think there's multiple thrones of hell, because there's multiple kings of hell at this point.
Maybe. And that'd be a hell of a Thanksgiving, wouldn't it?
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Somebody that didn't like Superman #1.
For very valid reasons.
I'll put valid in quotation marks. So all right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more. And we're back. Thank you for sticking with us here at Not a Robot. we are getting into our full dive reviews for the week, and our opening book is The Flash, number 793, with part 4 of the 1 Minute War, Thunder in Your Hearts. We open up on the 3 flashes of the latest continuity, and yes, I'm including Bart in that, even though right now he's Impulse, looking at Superman, who is slowly... Yeah, he's still a Flash. He's slowly catching up to everything with a what? And so he's definitely got some recognition of what's going on, but instead of everything looking like a standstill, things might be looking like a blur to him. He might catch up. We'll see maybe next issue. The Flash family, meanwhile, are trying to figure out what's going on with their newest addition to the team, the living conduit that was taken from the Fraction's home base. And this person, whoever they are, still yet to be named, reveals that they were a corrections officer of sorts. They were jumping through dimensions when they landed on a world that was overrun by the Fraction and was then captured. And the rest, as they say, is history. And then explains how the Fraction is going after people that they call organic conduits, who help power their ships and all sorts of other suits and abilities, and even explains how they are also able to channel the Speed Force through themselves, using the power conduits, I guess, on their chests. The Flash family take this information and begin to formulate a plan where they are going to fight back, while this mysterious individual says, look, no, we need to get off this planet right now. But they say, no, this is our home, we're going to fight for it. So they come up with a plan in 2 parts, where Wally takes the 2 kid Flashes and Barry. I see, it's really weird color. Bart has too many names. Impulse, Kid Flash, and Barry to a garage to soup up the work that... It's not a garage. It's Barry's lab, which Barry freaks out about at the state about it. I forgot about that part. To soup up a car that he's been working on and infuse it with the power of the Speed Force, which will give it an edge. Linda has a heart-to-heart with this mysterious character who just is kind of bewildered by everything and realizes that people might be scared, but they know that they're brave. Irie has another heart-to-heart with Jesse, and they become a little closer. And the Flash family, the Flashes come up with the idea that with the souped-up Speed Force-infused car, they can race it into the home base of the Spire area of the Fraction and use it to ram it directly into the controlling Spire that sends the Speed Force power throughout all the machines, and take it out, with the car acting as a sort of Speed Force bomb. Wally will drive it and will phase out at the last second before the car hits the Spire, and explodes. The rest of the Flash family, meanwhile, run interference, gaining the attention of the Fraction, while Max Mercury and Jay Garrick analyze the wall that surrounds the Fraction's home base and figure out a way inside. So they all get back to the base to finally fill in everyone else on the findings that they found, as Barry is still feeling a little down about Iris. Says, we're going to finish this today no matter what, and kind of walks away. Wally has a heart-to-heart with Barry, where Barry is just kind of done. He has nothing, and Wally says, no, you have us. Iris was my family too, so you're my family as well. And you're never alone. As Barry reveals that Iris and him do remember being married, and she asked him to be married, but he was also going to ask her. So now, who knows what's going to happen? If she may be dead, that's just gone. They hug it out. Have a nice little moment. That was sweet. Impulse and Kid Flash are now outside of the wall, where they see a tank coming out. I almost called that an ABC tank for any reboot fans out there. They see a tank come flying out of the Spire's wall and quickly interrupt it, as Barry shoots it with a giant looking laser rifle as reminiscent of the BFG from Doom. As
Yes.
Yep, as Ace, Max, I keep wanting to say Wally, Jay, and Bart go racing into the wall and try and hold it open. As Wally begins the engine on the Speed Force car and goes racing in, Jay gets stabbed in the back by one of the enforcers of the fraction, and Max gets smacked away. So they're no longer holding the door open. They reveal Miss Murder is actually on the way to their own home base, which is Mr. Terrific's laboratory. They've been keeping tabs on the Speed Force family the whole time and know exactly what they're trying to do. They're holding the door open for one last-ditch effort to attack the Spire. But as was revealed on the other side of the base, Linda and Jesse are holding open another portion of the wall, and Wally comes racing into that. He is instantly attacked by a bunch of laser drones, and the Spire sends its own little blast attack straight at the car, which hits it and seems to explode the car on impact, where Wally says he could not phase out. So it explodes, Jay is down, Miss Murder is attacking Irie, and the Flash family is at odds. Whatever are they going to do now? Man, that's some stuff. A lot of drama. The Flash family's got their work cut out for them here. I don't even know what's going to happen. This seemed like a really well put together plan, but it got taken apart really quickly. No pun intended. Yeah, I think the only player left standing right now that's not surrounded by things is Barry. And he might just be so pissed off at the fraction, he's just going to go in with a 1,000-punch flurry and just... But who knows? That's it's going to be an interesting next issue. I really rather enjoyed it. I think the art kind of suffered in a few panels, but for the most part, I really liked it. A lot of very heartfelt moments with a lot of characters, a lot of camaraderie, a lot of family. I really liked it. This is going to be the best story you see this year, where a lot of things are going at high speeds and it's about family. 9 out of 10.
I was waiting for you to say that.
What, the Fast and Furious pun? Yeah.
If you weren't going to say it, I was going to say it.
Yeah, so that's me. What do you guys think?
I had a great time. This arc has just been so much fun, and it's such a great celebration of the Flash family. That moment between Wally and Barry feels like so overdue, because every time they're interacting, it usually feels like an argument or something like that. But it feels like it's been a while since we've had a really just genuine heart to heart Barry and Wally moment, especially given the circumstances with Iris, which, I mean, we know is probably not going to stick. But still, it's just nice to see that they're there for each other in that way. And also nice to see that both Barry and Iris still remember the marriage, that's something that happened, but they're also trying to kind of move past it in a way and live a new life. They're not necessarily tethered to the past, but they do recognize that it happened, which is good to see. So just a lot of good stuff here. And we've mentioned it many times. Rob pretty much said everything I wanted to say, but the one thing that he did not mention, which we've mentioned several times, but I will never get tired of mentioning, is that Impulse and Ace are the best pairing of this entire series, to be honest. And I hope that they can get their own spin-off book, though. I mean, we talked about Young Justice. I think Bart should be doing other things, but if Bart's leading the team and Ace is there and they have the same dynamic, it would be hard to say no to that. So I had a lot of fun. This one got an 8.5 for me.
I did forget to mention that. I apologize about that, because that was one of my favorite moments. I even screenshotted that one interaction between Ace and Bart when I was reading and sent it to you guys.
Yeah.
I was like, I could swallow a bug if I wanted to. Yeah, we'll prove it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Oh, man.
I mean, I dug it, man, like a lot. There were a couple things like, okay, so like when Wally gets into the car to take off toward the fraction, I look for Easter eggs like crazy if I notice them. I didn't get this one. He says, well, tramps like us. And the only two things that I can think of is there's a manga series that's got that name. And there's a Bruce Springsteen tribute band. So I don't know where that came from, but I'm definitely not familiar with that phrase. And I'm curious, they hit him with that emitter while he was driving the car and he couldn't phase out. So did they like dampen his powers or like give him too much power? He looks like he's a little messed up there. Uh, it also looks like Jay is a goner. I think that Iris potentially isn't coming back, but and this literally just occurred to me is that this is the 1 minute war. So all of this, and it's not done yet, the whole war is going to take a solid minute, like 1 minute. So when everything gets unfrozen, she'll have only been dead for 1 minute, which means that they'll be able to save her. So I don't think Iris is gone for good. I am curious about Jay, though. It continues to be a very, very, very cool story, man. I am hella digging it, and I think the art looks fantastic. Really, the only gripe that I have with that is Wallace. In any panels showing his face, he just kind of looks weird compared to everybody else. And that's like the only problem that I have with the art at all. Altogether, it is still kicking ass and chewing Fraction. The Fraction, not Matt Fraction. That would be weird. But I cannot wait for the next issue. 9 out of 10, man.
Right on. I just realized I don't think I said the credits at the beginning of the issue, did I?
I honestly don't remember.
I don't remember. Just in case, this was written by Jeremy Adams with pencils from Roger Cruz, inks from Wellington Diaz, colors from Luis Guerrero, letters from Rob Lee, and a, as always, gorgeous cover from Torrin Clark. And to your points, Josh, about Tramps Like Us, I did take a quick look at it. What was it about Bruce Springsteen you found?
There's a Bruce Springsteen. They call it the greatest Bruce Springsteen tribute band ever, and it's called Tramps Like Us.
Oh, okay, so I did find a song by Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run, which has the line Tramps Like Us in it. And he says, oh, honey, tramps like us, baby, we were born to run. So that's probably the
That's
there.
definitely it. I didn't even
Oh my
think
God,
about
wait,
that.
I just realized that is such a great reference because
it is.
What's the name of wait, actually I might be screwing this up. I got to double check, but I swear, hang on, I need to see. Yes, okay. What's the name of essentially Wally's year one story? What's it called? Do you guys remember?
No.
Born to Run?
Born to Run. That's the first arc that Mark Waid
shit.
ever did with the Flash, and it's Wally's origin story. It's Wally's year one, I suppose you could say. That is oh my God. I almost want to give this book
that's
an
a deep cut, dude.
That is really deep.
Yeah, that is a great reference.
And
that's
like
because
I knew the tribute band. I didn't even, well, of course that doesn't surprise me, but I did not remember at all that was a line in there. Good job. Hell of research. That's so cool.
That's the shit with Jeremy Adams writing that I like. This dude is deep in so many ways. He's like an ogre. He's got layers.
Everybody likes buffet.
One.
All right, so now we're moving on to our next book of the week, which is Catwoman number 51. This is not the first Dawn of the DC issue, right? This is the second Dawn of DC for Catwoman.
Second,
I think it's the first, actually.
Is it the first?
I don't remember 51 having this brand name. No.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, this is the second, I guess, or third, technically, Dawn of DC branded book in the run so far. Catwoman number 51, and Josh is going to fill us in on Aiko Hasegawa as Catwoman.
I definitely am. Catwoman number 51, written by Teeny Howard, pencils and inks by Sam Basri and Vicente Cifuentes, respectively. Veronica Gandini on colors and Lucas Gattoni on lettering, with a cover from David Nakayama. So, Rise and Revenge Part 2 goes a little something like this. Kick it. Dario is... Cool, I'm not that old. Dario is basically going through a driver's test for Iko, who reluctantly passes him because she can't trust anyone else that wouldn't make it look like the Hasegawa clan was responsible for what they were doing. Not to mention that the Gentleman's Club has invited Iko back to the table after having to deal with all the punchline and amygdala crap. So she'll be on the inside as the leader of the Hasegawa clan, and on the outside as the cat, handling business. Speaking of business, we head over to Gotham County to see Selina talking with the lawyer she did not want. The lawyer that is currently trying to convince Selina that she's innocent of murder because it was actually the explosion that killed them and that was not her doing. And the lawyer has the proof. And she's got a convincing argument as Selina quiets down and silently agrees to be good while attorney Fremont works her magic. Should be pretty easy since Selina is the queen of commissary now. And she's teaching all of her new friends how to be exceptional thieves to make sure that they are all well confident in themselves should Selina get the chair for murder. Also, to help them run the plan that Selina has worked out. So hopefully that all goes good for them. Meanwhile, Iko has infiltrated the Gentleman's Club. That's, if you're not aware, that's the name of Black Mask's little group of organized dimwits. Bosses. So she's infiltrated the club and has convinced them, after some pointed statements being made, pointed like throwing a knife at Black Mask, that she really has sworn off the cat for good. During that, Dario has a run-in with Noah, which has been a long time coming, and he scares the shit out of him, which I thought was pretty cool, that tacky bastard. It turns out that on the inside, Selina's friends that she has gathered are all, well, they're powered up, so to speak, like Lady Clayface, for example. Having taught them how to steal earlier, at night, she teaches them how to fight. All the while, Batman is reminding her of who she is through notes passed on through the cat. Her cat. I can't remember what the name of it is right now. Duchess. Reminding her that she's got a great mind, a huge heart, and is the world's greatest criminal. I mean, holy crap, I loved this issue. I just absolutely loved it.
What is that?
I think it's a super cool way for things to go down in jail for Selina. While I doubt that these relationships will work their way out onto the streets anytime soon, it does make for a great way for Selina to be safe within the jail, and she needs that while her not lawyer works on getting her out. Plus, these people could be allies when they do get out, perhaps later on in a Catwoman's run. So I think this is a hell of a job, Howard. And Basri, as usual, kicks ass with his pencils, and they are just set off perfectly. And I do mean perfectly by the inks and the colors. A seriously fantastic creative team that I hope stays together for a long, long time. So I gave this a 9.5 out of 10. Right meow.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Just to be clear, that was Beastie Boys you were doing at the beginning of your review, right? So that's what I heard. Every time I hear "kick it," I just hear Beastie Boys.
That was Rob Bass, so a little bit older than Beastie Boys, but they both did kick it.
Enough. Yeah. Damn. No, I kind of.
So I am old. Yay.
No. I know Rob Bass too. I every time I hear "kick it," I think of Beastie Boys. That's where my mind goes. No, I know Rob Bass though. I'm struggling to remember the name of the song though. That one of the songs.
It takes two to make a thing go
Yeah,
right. That's
I
the
knew that,
one
but
that
then I'm
everybody
also
remembers.
hearing. Oh my god! Now I just blanked on it. Okay, that's not even the point right now. Callum number 51. We'll talk about it later. Honestly though, if Dawn of DC is meant to be jumping on points, which typically that's how these things go, this doesn't really fit too well, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of backstory, I think, with where this is right now for people to really understand what the hell's going on. Selena's in jail. There's a whole new Catwoman. There's some guy named Tomcat. There's some weird alien cat named Duchess. What the fuck is going on? Unless you've been reading the last 10 issues, you're going to be kind of lost. Beyond that, though, I think it's a really good issue. If you have been reading so far, makes a lot of sense. It's really interesting stuff. Selena being, as Josh said, the queen of the commissary, I think is brilliant. All these women that she surrounded herself with are actually already named villains that she found out thanks to the help of Bruce. And more just teases at Bruce and Selena's relationship going forward is, at least in my world, always welcome. 8.75 out of 10 for this one. It was really well done. I dug the art, dug the story. Keep it coming.
8 out of 10 for me. I did not enjoy it as much as the last issue, which I thought was much better. They kind of keep teasing this idea that Aiko's going to get center stage in the Catwoman book, and I'm hoping the sort of tease for the next issue finally does that, because it feels like they've just been dragging out that idea for a while, and it's like, we want to see it, just do it already. But aside from that, I think the pacing on this one was okay. It was just a little slow, but aside from that, it was, I don't know. I just found myself thinking I really preferred last month's version of the whole prison stuff than this month, so that's really all I have to say.
Because he doesn't like to talk as much shit as I do.
Why waste the time?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, so that will bring us to our last.
You like the next one.
Yeah, our last book of the week, which
really?
is Nightwing.
A Nightwing book? Oh God, you know I hate Nightwing. No, yes, this is Nightwing 101.
Blasphemy.
I know, right? A book that feels like it should be a Dawn of the DCU book, but is not. And I'm wondering if that's because of the book that will be spinning out of this book. But regardless, yes, this is Nightwing 101, written, of course, by Tom Taylor, with art from the incomparable Travis Moore. And I can't believe I'm saying that, because I've been waiting like 4 years for Travis Moore to do a Nightwing book. And no, I'm not counting the era of which we do not speak, because yes, I know he did art for that. No, I don't care. With colors from Adriano Lucas and letters from West.
I don't remember Travis Moore ever doing that. No, there was I don't know what you're talking about.
It did.
Nah, it didn't happen.
You're right.
I don't know. You're talking about didn't happen.
Exactly,
that's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but if something were to have happened, he didn't do it. What's that OJ book? If I had done it, this is how. What? I don't remember. But anyway, if I did it or something like that. I'm getting off topic. This is Nightwing 101, and we open fittingly in hell, because where else would you start a Nightwing book? But specifically, we're catching up with Neron, who's checking in with his demon hordes after they failed to recover a soul that was promised to them, the soul of one Olivia. I'm forgetting her last name, but basically Blockbuster's daughter, who we sort of went through that whole plot line in issue 98, I believe it was. Neron is chiding his... Yes, Neron is chiding his servants for their inability to do so, but more so questioning how it was even possible that they were clouded or shrouded from his view. And of course, he suspects, as naturally as one would, that Nightwing must have had some kind of help, of course, from the daughter of Trigon, which means that Neron needs to go out and seek some of his associates to bring down the Titans from... the best way that he can do so. That was a weird way to say it, but basically Neron takes a little trip over to Vladova to speak to the king of Vladova, except not really, because the king is hidden somewhere, and in his place is none other than the grinning man playing at being the king of Vladova. Neron has a mission for him and sends him off to find the Titans and recover the soul of Olivia Desmond. And of course, that's a perfect way to transition over to Olivia Desmond, who is spending time with the Titans and having just a grand old time playing with Beast Boy and Raven as they LARP their medieval fantasy adventure. Nightwing shows up at that time with Bitewing, and they sort of catch everything up, or they catch up on everything that's going on. But more specifically, they're talking about the body that they found under Titan's Tower, which of course fell for the 700 millionth time during the events of Dark Crisis, which means that they need to go over to New York to the ruins of the old Titan's Tower and investigate just who this mysterious body might be. Starfire, upon finding out that the body is there, immediately works to tunnel through to the bottom of the surface of Titan's Tower and recover the body, where they find that it is none other than the King of Vladova. But how can that be possible? King of Vladova is supposed to be alive. Also, this body looks way too fresh. So they send it over to some of their
looks
friends.
way too old.
Yeah, way too old. Something like that. Well, the body looks too freshly buried, I think they say, or something like that. But in cooperation with the U.S. government, specifically Amanda Waller and the Vladovan embassy, they send the corpse over to be examined, where they find that something is not off. I mean, there were too many red flags, and that the body could not be, fresh at least, or could not have fallen when Titan's Tower had fallen. There were too many red flags there, and that's, of course, when Dick gets a rather nasty conk to the head, and we find that the grinning man is right onto the Titans, and the grinning man shifts his appearance to look just like Nightwing as Nightwing is passed out, heads out to meet up with Starfire and Raven as they make their way to investigate the mystery further. And that's where our main story ends. We have a backup, which very much caught me off, because as far as I know, Nightwing has never had a backup, but I guess for this new era of Nightwing, we have backups now. But it's a rather short one and continues the adventures of Dick mentoring John, particularly as they investigate a mystery at the circus, one that leads to rather explosive results. And that's all I will say. That backup is written by C.S. Pacat with pencils from Eduardo Pacinca, inks from Julio Ferreira, and colors from Adriano Lucas, with letters also from Wes Abbott. Loved the main story. Really, I felt so spoiled getting to see Travis Moore do Nightwing in all his glory, but also just a great way to introduce this new Titans era of Nightwing, and I'm interested to see where this mystery goes. So Nightwing got a 9 out of 10 for me. The backup was fun, but honestly, I think just because I was so caught off guard with the backup, I didn't score it. I'll have to think about that a little bit more. But yeah, I'm just so not used to Nightwing having a backup. It was a little strange at first.
No, not at all. Mm-hmm. Hey, Nightwing, you made it to the big time. I mean, only huge books get backups.
Yeah. All right, Josh, you want
Sure. I'm going to echo what Brandon said. Travis Moore does a damn good job in here, as does Pancica and Ferreira. So I got two things here. The only thing that I'm really not digging about this is that everything is denoted as happening now. Even the first story and the second story are all happening now. That drives me crazy when it happens in separate issues, but in a single issue, it slapped me, and I actually had to come back to it. That is my only complaint, though. It's an annoying one, but not enough to drag the score down too much. Um, Other than that, both stories are really enjoyable, and they do have me wondering where they go. It's just that whole when thing that has me a little flustered. Because of that, I can't score it as high as I want to score it, but especially with this creatives. But I give it an 8 out of 10. I do have a question for you guys, though. Is this a case of me just forgetting? Because the only grinning man that I've ever heard of is he's he's from Silent Hill. I don't
That's all I could
remember.
find.
I don't
Yeah,
remember
I hadn't heard of
the.
anyone else.
So the
There's a
grinning
grinning
man
man
is a
in
new
basic
character.
horror lore as well. Um, that I guess Silent Hill kind of took ideas from. So this might
Oh,
just be like
probably.
a run of the mill famous demon.
Okay, I'll take that. He's definitely one hell of a shapeshifter, and poor
Yeah,
Nightwing. It aggravated me that there was a real Nightwing that got knocked out. There was a fake Nightwing impersonating him, and then also a real Nightwing with John. But ultimately, I mean, take it where you can get it, and assume that they're two separate stories. Then it still well deserves an 8 out of 10.
I'm always under the idea that the backups tend to be at different times, not running concurrently with the main story. Like, I know we don't mention it, but young Diana, for example, is well in the
Well,
past. And as
I
I
don't know
did
what you're
see some
talking about.
chatter
Young
online
Diana, what?
about, as I did see some chatter online about this issue with Nightwing, a lot of people agree at this point Nightwing should just be wearing a helmet. I think Dick should look into that. He gets hit in the head way too many times with heavy metal objects, bullets.
Fucking A.
It's your one weakness is head trauma. Um, yeah, I'm digging the new status quo right now, but I think I'm more excited for Titans to have their own book again because having the Titans here is cool, but I really did like this more when it was a Nightwing centric book. Um, Not that I'm against like the odd cameo and whatnot like we had so far during Taylor's run, but right away this feels like kind of Titans as much as it is Nightwing, so it feels kind of weird. Uh, I don't know. Maybe there's. I'll see how the next issue goes. Neuron, I think, is an interesting choice right now for a villain. I'm all for it though. I kind of dig Neuron as a villain. I gave this an 8.75 out of 10. I really enjoyed the story. I think the art was quite good with some issues here and there, but ultimately quite fun. I think that is everyone's review, yeah? So now we're going to get into our top 3 of the week and favorite moment if you had one. Josh, you want to start us off?
I do. Number 3, I gave to the book we just reviewed, Nightwing number 101. Stellar, even if the timeline kind of screwed it up a little bit, it didn't screw it up enough to piss me off. Number 2, the Flash number 793 was freaking awesome. And if I didn't enjoy the way that they were fleshing out Catwoman so much, Flash would have number 1, and that spoils it for number 1. Catwoman number 51 took the top spot for me today. My my favorite moment is it's in Lazarus Omega. Art wise, even though it was partly covered by 2 other panels, I thought it looked so good, and I wish I would have been able to see a full splash of it. But it was that scene with Black Alice being pulled through the portal and kind of being stretched out a bit. Man, that shit was just gorgeous. Just gorgeous.
I agree there. Brandon, what you got?
3, I had Flash. 2 was Nightwing, but number 1 for this week, I had to give it to Superman. Just had the most fun with that one. But my favorite moment, easily from Superman, as I mentioned earlier, is the moment with Livewire after she's been captured and she just screams, "Livewire's fans won't be denied. You can't cancel me." And that just made me laugh because it was such a ridiculous thing.
Indeed. It really fucking was.
Okay, as for me, top 3 I had GCPD The Blue Wall number 5 at number 3. Another shocking issue. Number 2, I had World's Finest number 12. And at number 1, I had Superman number 1. Just great issues all around. And favorite moment, kind of tied between Robin forgetting to get cash and Ace and Bart just having it out over swallowing bugs while running. It's just a great moment. All right, so that was our favorite moments. Now it's time for your favorite moments. It is
the biggest thinker.
Oh, that's nasty.
Mm-hmm.
All right, boys, what made your stink list this week?
World's Finest was a waste of time and money, but at the exact same score, Superman number 1, it was a number 1, and it should have been good, but he fucked Superman all kinds up, especially when compared to who we had at the Superman helm before this. So
I feel personally
it's going to be
attacked with
Superman
my
number
top
1
two
for
books.
me. Yeah,
Brandon, et toi?
I know.
I had Lazarus Planet Omega this week. Just kind of a weird, I don't know. I don't want to say disappointing, but lackluster is probably the best word for it. Just not that great.
Right on. And for me, surprising even myself, Black Adam number 8, I just thought was kind of boring this week. It's been an interesting run. I'm enjoying Bolt with Malik, but ultimately it's just kind of going on a little too long, I think. I have no idea where the hell this story is supposed to be going.
Yeah.
So that is our show. If there's no last minute notes or thoughts we have for the week.
No, not without being a real stinker myself.
All right, well, that is our show. Remember, you can help support the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/NAR podcast. Check us out on Twitter at NotRobotComics, Instagram at NAR Comic Books, and subscribe to our Substack for bonus reviews, articles, and more. And as always, there's only one way we say goodbye around here. Until next time.
Be good to each other.
And don't be a robot.